All right, YouTube, so I am super excited. Today we get to tear into the 350Z. I don't have much time. I'm going to a concert tonight. It's a little bit of a drive from where we live. So I don't have a lot of time because I need to get some sleep. I just got off work. It's just after 8 in the morning, but there is some time to get some stuff done. So we're gonna jump right on that and try to get this 350Z tore apart. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to remove as much as I can. I've always heard people say that if you try to take a shortcut and you try to do less work, it ends up taking more time. So I think if I just get in there and get as much stuff as I can out of the way, it'll make it easier on me in the long run. And then all we have to do is take the passenger side head off. I know all we have to do. That's a lot considering I've never opened up an engine. So I'm gonna get changed. It is super cold outside, so I'm gonna bundle up a little bit and we're gonna get right to work. All right, so quick rundown here. We got the Z and it is sitting here. I went ahead and cleaned up, so we don't need to do any of that. I did that after I pulled it in. But basically we need to get this head off. So let me flip you around. Okay, so this head, it's leaking right on this side. Now, funny enough, I had a friend and he did a swap on a G35. It's basically the same car, same engine. It's just a 4-seater instead of just a 2-seater. And they thought what they had was a head gasket leak. Got in there and the head was actually cracked. And the head that was cracked was on a engine after they swapped it. It was a JDM import engine. So it's real common. These cars burn oil, and as long as you keep oil in them, they're fine. But if you don't, they will rod knock. So that's what happened at rod knock. They swapped it, and then boom, they had a coolant leak on the passenger side. And sure enough, it was actually the head was cracked, and they had to exchange the engine and do it all over again. And luckily, if that is the case, I actually have the original engine right here, and it's a little rusty. Doesn't have the lower oil pan or the valve cover or anything, but it does have a good passenger side head. And we can get bearings if need be and change everything that would have been damaged from the low oil. But I'm hoping that that's not the case. If it is, it's not going to be a whole lot more work. And if that is the case, then what I will do is I'll do a full refresh on both sides. And I will do, I'll rebuild the heads, do valve stems, and maybe something on the top, whatever. I think just valve stem seals. I don't think I'd do springs and retainers, but we'll see. I did just notice that, see this little black line right here? This is actually a intake plenum spacer. So this intake would have came off the original engine that was in this car before it was swapped. So somebody did some modifications. You see the K&N air intake and then the plenum spacer. So this does apparently give you some extra horse puppies. But if we have the plenum spacer and we have our cats gutted, an exhaust and an intake, that's pretty much full bolt-ons for this engine. And if that's the case, then I will get this tuned, because to get the most out of modifications like this, you do need to tune the engine for the changes that are made. So I'm going to set you guys up and we're going to get to work tearing this thing apart. All right, guys, real quick before I get started, you'll see I got some stuff laid out here. This stuff I know I'm going to need. I'm going to need baggies to label and sort bolts. I'll need tape to label lines and stuff. Aluminum foil to block off ports and stuff that we open that we don't want stuff getting into. You got to have you a drink. WD-40. This is an old car. It's bound to have some stuck bolts. Got a charger and a power pack for my camera so I can record, and some gloves here. I use these sometimes, but I'll probably use these because it's cold. And then I went ahead and rolled my toolbox over here. And it seems small, you know, you can see where my toolbox normally is, moving it over here. But being able to turn around and grab a tool, it'll stop you from maybe using a tool that isn't right for the job. When it's right there, you can turn around and get the tool that you should be using and be ready to go. I got jack and jack stands, but I don't know if I'll be jacking this thing up right away, but I'm gonna get to work. We need to get this hood off here and get it out of our way. I don't know if I'll be able to remove it completely since I am by myself, but get to work. I'm really just videoing this so I'll remember to replace it. Let's see this. It is not even tight all the way around. So I've been pulling and pulling and pulling on this and it will not budge. And I've actually ripped it. So I'm gonna cut it. And there's enough here to use, but I might just replace the whole line if it's, as you can hear it cracking, or you could when I first moved it. Alright guys and gals, so I think we're at a good stopping point for today. Couple of reasons why. First of all, I don't think I'm going to be able to work on this until Monday. We got some stuff going on this weekend and I'm going to be busy. And for that reason, I do not want to leave the engine open, i.e. the valve cover the valve covers off, the front cover off. And reason number two, this is a real reason why we can't continue, is the crank pulley down here. So I have a puller, but you need a real serious one to get this off. And I also might need a friend to help to keep the engine from turning over. So I need to get a puller. I believe you can rent them for free from, well, you pay a deposit, you get your money back, but you can rent them from auto parts store. And then the next thing we'll be doing on this is pulling the front cover off. We'll ultimately take off the timing chains, but we want to inspect them. And I believe we'll be able to look up tolerances and measure them because they do stretch. And then we can inspect the tensioners for wear and the guides. And if those are in rough shape, we'll try to replace them. I know you can get them pretty cheap, but you pay for quality. And if you buy those cheap Chinese parts, it's something where you're opening up your engine and you don't want to open it up again for the life of the car, ideally. You know, this engine has like 90,000 miles on it, is what the owner said. And if that's the case, this is like a 100,000 mile refresh. I drive for another 100,000 miles. That would be awesome. So we're gonna stop here for today. We made some really good progress. If you look over here, this is the intake manifold, and this is the lower part of the intake manifold. Radiator, fans, intake, and then this is the very lowest part of the intake manifold along with the fuel rail. We got our accessory belt off. We got our alternator off over here. and our coolant expansion tank, coolant hoses. I'm gonna move those parts over there now that I think about it. But yeah, awesome progress. We're gonna get back on it on Monday. It's Friday now, so a little bit of a break, but you know, the weekends are the only time I get to spend with my fiance because of our work schedules. So I need to, you know, set this stuff on the side and dedicate some time to her. We're gonna go see Billy Strings tonight, so I love watching him play. We've already seen him once this year, so I'm excited to go again. And then I believe we have a wedding to go to tomorrow. So busy weekend, but I'm glad that I got started on this. This is super exciting, and this is very inspiring, I guess, that I got this far on the first day, and only in 2 hours, I believe. I think I worked on it for 2 hours, so we made some awesome progress, and I think the next time we hit it, we'll really get some stuff done. And we might be at a point where, you know, we need to go to a machine shop and make sure that our head is true and it didn't warp if it overheated. And then we also need to order some parts. So I'm waiting to order parts until I know exactly what I need. I want to place it all in one order and try to save as much money as I can. But I know we're definitely going to need a head gasket, and then we definitely need a gasket kit. So we need the gaskets for the intake manifold. There's like 3 or 4 of them. And we need the valve cover gaskets. They are leaking pretty bad. We'll need, I believe this is all RTV for this front case. And then, yeah, there's plenty of gaskets that we're going to need for sure. But for now, I appreciate you guys watching. If you made it this far, I hope you are as excited as I am about getting this Z back on the road. This thing is going to rip. If you just want to look up stock 350Z drifting, they can get the job done. So I am so excited. I've had one before, and I loved it. And a lady T-boned me when I was leaving work, and I was crushed. You know, I don't put too much weight behind material possessions. You know, they can always be replaced, but I really love that car. And when that lady totaled it, man, I was pretty tore up. But if you're patient enough and you wait for the right deal, you can get another one just like this. And we're gonna have some sweat and blood into this one. We'll have the pride of knowing that we took something that was, you know, to most people was just junk, and we made it a ripper. So thanks again for watching. I hope you guys tune back in for the next video. It'll be part 2 of putting the 350Z, well, I should say part 2 of tearing the 350Z down, and pretty soon we'll be putting it back together. So have a good day.
Open up, you OPN, bitch, you want BBM.